Don't forget to go to ashkicking.com for pound the best home health and beauty fragrance product. 3, 2.
Hi, this is Brittany Madison, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Okay, now blow a kiss.
Flanagan did well. I would love to get any of those two names. Okay. Those are the ones that stand out the most. If Robert Easter has one more victory, maybe that really sets him apart, then that's the guy I would go after. But as it is right now, it's either Linares or Flanagan, top list.
Okay, so Robert would be last on that list right now.
For right now.
Okay.
You know, okay. It would be probably the last option, the third option. You know, especially because we want Linares because WBC is ordering that fight. We would take that one first. Flanagan has the WBO that I really want another WBO title. I want the third WBO title. I really want another WBO title. He holds it. Robert Easter has, like I said, he's got the skills. And he could possibly be the most difficult one because of the reach and height advantages. That doesn't mean that's not the reason why I'm not fighting him. You also look at the business side. And
so you want the fight to be as big as it can be, what you're saying, right?
You're going to try to get the fight who's going to make you the most amount of money, of course, but who's also going to elevate you to the next level.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So that clip you just watched, that was an interview I did with Mikey Garcia back in April this year, where you see he was talking about Robert Easter. He talked about the challenges facing someone like Robert Easter. Now today, he said something that was even more interesting because he was originally supposed to fight Linares on HBO. That was the plan. All of a sudden, those plans got derailed by Al Heyman and PBC because, according to Mikey Garcia, they gave him a better offer. Now, the natural inclination was he was most likely negotiating with Robert Easter. Considering the fact that both Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter, those are the two best lightweights in the division right now. They're both champions, both undefeated. That's the fight that made all the sense. If he's turning down a Linares fight, it must be for a bigger fight, right? But that wasn't the case. It turns out he ended up signing to fight Sergey Lipinets, which is a good fight, but it's not as big as a Robert Easter fight would have been, and I'll explain later. But before I explain why that's a bigger fight and why that fight makes all the sense in the world, let me go ahead and quote exactly what Mikey Garcia said about not facing Robert Easter and why he decided to go a different route. He's willing to fight me, and I'm willing to fight him. But when the purse was not really exciting, not what we both want, it's hard to get those fights done. And people forget everybody wants to get paid. Everyone wants to get money. No one likes to take pay cuts. Whatever job you're doing, if the boss comes and tells you, I can only pay you this much because I don't have the budget, I'm sure you're going to complain about why they're cutting your money. Nobody likes to take a pay cut. So we also want to make sure that we're being taken care of financially, as well as in boxing. Lipinets presents a size advantage as far as weight, but Easter presents height and reach advantages. That could make for a difficult fight. He could use his height and reach advantage over me and make things more complicated. So those are the challenges. End quote. Now, the first thing I want to say is I give Mikey Garcia credit for even giving Robert Easter credit. Because, you know, a lot of times in situations like this, when a fighter is turning down a dangerous opponent that could possibly beat him, they don't usually admit that. They usually use all different kind of excuses. Either his style is too boring or he's not a big enough draw. Now, don't get me wrong. Mikey Garcia is using the draw excuse, but all I'm saying is at least he's incorporating the challenges that lie ahead when it comes to getting in the ring with someone as tough and as skilled as Robert Easter. Because if you guys recall, when it comes to Keith Thurman aggressively being called out by Errol Spence, you notice Keith Thurman doesn't really talk about how difficult the fight would be. He doesn't really say, he poses problems, he poses challenges because of this style, because he's a southpaw, etc., etc. You don't really hear Keith Thurman say that. Keith Thurman, he'll just say, I don't know when I'm gonna fight the guy, and he's just gonna have to wait. He's not on my radar. When it came to Gennady Golovkin, Golovkin never really talked about how tough or how difficult an Andre Ward fight would be to win. He never talked about Andre Ward's attributes and his advantages that he brings into the ring. But Mikey Garcia is doing just that when it comes to lightweight champion, or the other lightweight champion, Robert Easter. Now, on the flip side, this situation, if you really think about it, guys, is really analogous to the Jeff Horn, Terrence Crawford situation. Because just like Mikey Garcia, Team Horn, they admitted that Terrence Crawford would be a very difficult fight, while at the same time saying, well, you know, he's a tough sell, he's not that good of a communicator, and it would be hard to sell a fight, etc., etc. They pulled the draw card. The only difference is Jeff Horn, he named his price. He said that he would fight Terrence Crawford for $5 million, $4 to $5 million. Now, Mikey Garcia didn't name his price, but as you guys heard, you know, when I read the quote, he basically said it's going to have to be worth it. Once again, when you tie in how difficult the fight will be with how much money you need or how well you need to be compensated, clearly once again suggests you understand the challenges that lie ahead. Now, interestingly enough, when Team Easter, when they were asked about facing Mikey Garcia and what they thought about Mikey Garcia, one of Robert Easter's teammates, I believe one of his trainers, he said that he would beat the shit out of Mikey Garcia. So there's no doubt about it. Now, this didn't come out of Robert Easter's mouth. This came out of one of Robert Easter's trainers' mouth. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean Robert Easter just wins the fight. We still would have to see the fight play out. And that's why I hope this fight eventually comes to fruition. Now, something Mikey Garcia said that I have to disagree with, when he said that he doesn't believe the fight would be that big. And you seen in the clip, I said to Mikey, well, he was a big hit in Ohio. He was like, well, that's just Ohio. Now, there's some things that I don't think people are realizing right now. First of all, Brooklyn, the Barclays Center, has emerged as top 3 best locations when it comes to hosting a boxing match. I've been out there covering fights. I'll be out there again for the Errol Spence Peterson fight. But the atmosphere is always electric. Brooklyn fans are some of the most passionate boxing fans in the sport of boxing. And not only that, but a lot of those fans are extremely knowledgeable. Now, when it comes to Robert Easter, once again, his drawing power, people have to realize there's already a built-in story for Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter. And that's the fact that Mikey Garcia, he beat Adrien Broner. The reason why Mikey Garcia took the Adrien Broner fight, because Mikey understood fighting Adrien Broner, that's a big name, that'll be a big fight. So now you have a fighter who's affiliated, who's in that camp, who's in Adrien Broner's camp, basically trying to avenge Big Bro's loss. We know that Broner is going to be promoting this fight. We know that there is a history already if Mikey Garcia fights against Robert Easter. So when Mikey Garcia says that Robert Easter is only a big draw in Ohio, there's no doubt about it. The combination of Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter in Brooklyn, New York at the Barclays Center, that would be a hell of a draw. I mean, that's kind of like Deontay Wilder. That's like saying Deontay Wilder is only a draw in Alabama. But when Deontay Wilder went over there to Brooklyn, he was a hit. He was a hit out there in Brooklyn. Just like Jamal Charlo, Edeslandi Lara, and Austin Trout. They all went over to Brooklyn and they were a hit. I was there. And once again, the atmosphere was on fire out there in Brooklyn. So there's no doubt about it. Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter would be a bigger fight than Mikey Garcia versus Sergey Lipinets. There is no doubt about it. Then Mikey Garcia fighting, was it Zatichinin? We know that he wasn't a big draw, Zatichinin. So this fight would be big. Once again, you know, hopefully this fight gets done because, once again, Robert Easter and Mikey Garcia, these are the two best lightweights in the division. Let's see what happens in 2018. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.